Hi everybody, this is going to be a quick tutorial on tracing and scaling vector graphics for use in cosplay prompts. This question was posted by user miningaway08 on Reddit, and I'm just going to go through a quick tutorial on how to use Inkscape to create and scale blueprints for prompt making. So firstly, we're going to open up Inkscape. This is a free open source program for creating graphics. So what I'm going to do is go to File, Import, and use the photo that was included in the post. Uh, Clicking from File and Smooth. I'm going to move this to the center of my workspace. I'm going to use the Draw Bezier Curves and Straight Lines tool. And then I'm just going to zoom in a little bit using Control Scroll Up on Windows PCs. And then start tracing the outlines of the image. Now, generally, you're going to need fewer points than you would think to make these curves, since you're able to edit them afterwards. And after you're done with sort of a segment, you can right-click and create the line. Now, if you go here to the Edit Paths by Nodes tool, zoom in a little bit, and you can see that this is automatically created a straight line between this point and this one. However, the sword itself is a little bit curved, so we'll just take this part of the line and curve it a little bit. This part is mostly straight, but we'll align it a little bit better with the picture just to get things smoothed out on that end. Going back to the Bezier curve, you can handle the cusp node so that you can make sure that you match and sort of merge that point. Do the same thing for the other side of the sword. Go down here, right click, and do the same thing where we edit the curve to match the picture. And we can do our first sort of sanity check on this one, so we can use the Select and Transform Object tool, select the picture itself, delete it, and now we see that we have the beginnings of our sword. Control Z, put that back. So let's draw this main circle here. Use the Create Circles Ellipsis, drag the circle, holding Control to get a regular circle instead of an oval. Move it to where it needs to go, and Control, scale it until it's just the right size. Now we're going to repeat the process before of drawing the Bezier curve. Zoom in here on this handle, trace around the curves, adding extra points so that we can edit. Like I said, you'll probably need fewer points than you think, but I like to start high and then say remove them here by clicking on the individual point, clicking the delete key, and then you can sort of scale them from there. Make sure that you're following the curve as best you can, deleting nodes where needed, leaving them in when you delete a little too overzealously. And then following the general curve of the shape. And again, we can select the image, delete, and we can see that we've got our general shape of the handle there. Now you can, there are some finer controls for determining, you know, a little bit more accurate, but this is just a quick how-to. So we're going to do not all the prop, but enough to show the process. So we're going to trace this line here. To get the handle. And then right-clicking when we're done. And that shouldn't need too much editing because it is rounded in the y dimension, but in the x and y, it is, generally speaking, pretty flat. I'm going to do this eye here before I do the circle, just because the circle defaults to a bit more opaque. And adjust so that the eye is following. And you can use these lines here to adjust the curve. I don't know if I need that. I didn't need that point at all. Yeah, just need the 2 points on the ends. Like I said, you don't really need that much in the way of points. Control to create a regular circle. Move it where it needs to be. And again, same thing with these cutouts here. And my typical process is to create a bunch of points, go a little rough, and then edit them at the end. Since this is going to be a handmade prop, that is going to be uh, just making a blueprint here and not doing a like full 3D model or anything. It doesn't have to be super precise uh, since it is going to be manually cut out. And just remove that fill. So that we can see through the circle. There we go. And then one more for the inner circle here. Making sure to hold down control as you scale. Okay. So that's the general outline of the prop. Missing some details here, but this is an example. So we have going to measure here, we have from the cusp node down to the end of the prop is shown down here. We're going to see the distance of the line segment. So this prop is this vector is currently 176.34 millimeters. Now, the spec requested a length of 4.5 feet, which is going to be 1,372 millimeters. A little back of the napkin math. $176 divided by 1372. And where's my inverse? Okay, so inverse, because I always forget which direction to divide in. So we're going to need to scale this up by 7.8 times to get the appropriate size. So we're going to select everything, object, transform, click the scale tab, scale proportionally, So we are doing 7.8 times, so 780% in both dimensions. And we're going to double check that here. Custom node to the bottom. And here we are at 1376 millimeters. So that's pretty close. You may take a little bit of fiddling, and you can do manual scaling as well, just by using these scale corners here to do some fine adjustments, remembering to hold control to scale proportionally. Now you can save this as a Inkscape vector. Believe you can also do as a PDF to make it easy to print it out. But the typical way to save it is a scaled vector graphic or an SVG. Now, if you're going to be 3D printing this, what you can do is import it into a program like 123D Design or Fusion 360. 123D Design is an older product by Autodesk that's no longer supported or offered by them, but you can still find it pretty easily online. It's essentially a slightly pared down version of Fusion 360, which I prefer just because it's a little bit doesn't have as many bells and whistles. It's a lot easier to find things, in my opinion. So we're going to import SVG as sketch, import the drawing that we just made, importing from Inkscape. And here we have our vector graphic. Now what you can do is adjust this line a little bit. And then you can do things like extruding upwards. Chamfering the edges. And as you can see, the sword starts to form. That's outside the purview of this tutorial, but in general, what you can do is you can take the vector graphics that you make in Inkscape and import them into a 3D modeling program, and then just do sort of either box modeling or extrude and then chamfer down to create the solids and sort of adjust from there. All right, and that's about it. So thanks, everybody, and I'll see you next time.